Hey, what's everyone? It's Grant Collins. Hope all is well. So a couple days ago, I released a video to you guys about, the massive opportunity that cybersecurity is providing in today's world and how we can go about getting started by learning the foundations and fundamentals of cybersecurity. I also briefly mentioned some resources that you can take a look at. I have a resources page as well as, looking at a YouTube crash courses online or looking at popular training platforms. So in today's video, I want to address really the second critical component into your cybersecurity learning process. So once you've gone out and learned from a particular resource, book, or just really any sorts of information, really one critical component that I would highly advise on is being able to practically apply that knowledge to a real-world project. Now, we're going to touch in a moment some strategies that I use when it comes to practical application in cybersecurity. But before we do that, I really want to talk about why we should practically apply our knowledge through projects. Really, it ultimately comes down to knowledge reinforcement. Oftentimes we like to go out and take a resource, go through the resource, and then not really have any avenue or opportunity to actually apply that to a project. And when it comes to employers, they're looking for us cybersecurity students, myself included, to be someone who is able to, not just take a concept and have a theory of it, let's just say a security model, but able to actually apply that security model within their enterprise. So this means that, oftentimes it's not necessarily reciting a definition of a security term. It's more so about how we can apply that. So this really transitions me into my strategies for practical application. So oftentimes there are lots of resources out there which give you that source of information, but they have little to no practical application. And when it comes to that, what I like to usually do is, really I'm stating the obvious here, is I like to go to Google and research the different tools and technologies offered to us cybersecurity students that we can use. This doesn't just mean necessarily an offensive cybersecurity tool, for instance. This can be an entire service such as Active Directory, and you don't really need to know what that means. It can be really anything. So the first thing I like to do is go out and research. If I don't really know of a particular tool or technology, Twitter is oftentimes a great source of information. If you go out and follow a handful of cybersecurity professionals and enthusiasts, oftentimes they talk about, let's just say a tool that they are using, and that can be a great way to get started. Another area is just looking at the cybersecurity news websites. Those are oftentimes going to give you popular applications which have been attacked, and you can take a look at the tools and the infrastructure involved within the security news. So reading the security news and finding those tools and technologies is often going to be a really nice way to find those tools that you can use. If I haven't had much luck with the research phase of practical application, the next thing I like to do is what I like to call add it to the lab. What this means is that based off of a security concept or security model, what I will do is I will literally just add that to my cybersecurity home lab. And a cybersecurity home lab doesn't have to be anything too complex. It can just be made up of a couple virtual machines. So what I will do is, if I'm learning about access control, instead of trying to memorize access control, what I'll do is I'll go find a program which I can implement in my cybersecurity lab, which basically means hosting some virtual machines on my own local network and adding those programs into the lab. So this is just like add it to the lab kind of, and this just helps me continue to add different components into my cybersecurity home lab. And the third resource is just finding lists of projects. Oftentimes you can go out on the web and find a complete list of cybersecurity projects that you can take a look at. In fact, I have a starter entry-level cybersecurity projects page. The link is right here. If you're looking for any type of basic baseline project, take a look at that webpage. I've come up with some ideas with descriptions and starter resources that you can take a look at. So oftentimes you can find lists out there which really do help you in that process. So if you're looking more into adding practical elements of your learning, and you're struggling with the foundations of IT and cybersecurity, I actually have a resource coming out for you. So for the last 6 months, I've been working on a program called Introduction to Cybersecurity, a Practical Approach to Getting Started. And within this program, we really emphasize the two things that I've talked about in the previous video, which is the foundations of IT, and in today's video about practical application. Within this program, I go through 5 different sections, including IT fundamentals, networks, IT security concepts, as well as programming and Linux. And we build some capstone projects that will help us understand the aspects and dynamics of practical application. Now, within this, I give you a challenge. It's not about necessarily spoon-feeding you information. It's also about looking in the future, being able to apply your own knowledge. So I provide a document with 35 plus project ideas. And within this project document, there's section projects. So for instance, in the Introduction to Programming project, which we use Python, what we'll do is you will go out and develop 5 different Python scripts from the descriptions that I give you, and you're going to have to go out and research yourself. So in this way, not only am I giving you the foundations, I'm showing you my process, and we are building some labs, but you're also going out and fostering your own learning experience. This resource is going to be released actually tomorrow. So if you are really interested in looking into getting started in cybersecurity with practical application, take a look out. This is going to be a limited time offer for this upcoming week. It's going to be 33% off. As part of just the launch and the excitement of the program. So if you are someone who is interested in that, you can consider looking into the program that I have created. If not, no worries. I hope that this video has helped you maybe come up with a couple strategies, have a little clarity in terms of knowing that practical application is very important within your learning journey, as well as also looking up some strategies for practical application in projects that you can work on within the cybersecurity. That is it for this video. Please, if you have any questions, reply to this email down below, or you can go ahead and email me if you want anything further assistance. Until the next time, hope you are having a good day, and yeah.